Have you ever left a conversation thinking, wait, did that really happen the way I remember it? Maybe you replayed it over and over again in your mind. Maybe you even apologized. Not because you knew you were wrong, but because you weren't sure anymore. 1 minute, you're certain. The next minute, you're questioning your memory, your emotions, your intentions, even your sanity. If you've ever felt like that, today's episode is for you. Because gaslighting usually doesn't begin with someone calling you crazy. It begins with something much quieter. It begins the moment you stop trusting yourself. Welcome back to Smile Sessions. I'm your host, Christina Perry, and this is the podcast where we discuss ways to live healthier, happier, and more fulfilling lives. We're continuing our Stop Disappearing series where we're exploring the conversations after you've closed the book. Last week, we talked about pink flags. Today, we're talking about something that often follows them. Gaslighting. Not the internet buzzword. Not the version we throw around casually. The real thing. The slow erosion of your confidence in your own reality. One of the passages I wrote in Stop Disappearing says this: have you ever walked away from a conversation wondering if you remembered it wrong? If your reaction was too dramatic? Or if maybe, just maybe, you were the problem? That's the beginning. Notice, gaslighting doesn't usually start with obvious lies. It starts with confusion. You leave the conversation feeling like something doesn't fit. You replay it, trying to find the missing piece. But instead of questioning their behavior, you begin questioning yourself. Maybe I misunderstood. Maybe I was too emotional. Maybe I shouldn't have brought it up. Do you see what happened? The spotlight quietly moved from their behavior to your perception. And that's exactly where gaslighting begins. One of the biggest misconceptions about gaslighting is that it's dramatic. Usually, it's not. It's tiny, almost invisible. It sounds like, that never happened. You're remembering it wrong. You're too sensitive. You're imagining things. Oh, I was only joking. You're making a big deal out of nothing. Individually, these comments may not seem devastating, but over time, they begin to replace your inner voice. Eventually, you stop asking, was that okay? And start asking, am I okay? Here's what I think is the most heartbreaking part. Gaslighting doesn't just change how you see another person. It changes how you see yourself. You stop trusting your memory. You stop trusting your intuition. You stop trusting your emotions. Eventually, you ask someone else to define reality for you. Think about that. Someone else's version of events becomes louder than your own experience. That's an incredibly lonely place to live. Remember what we talked about in the pink flags episode? Your body often knows before your mind does. Gaslighting teaches you to ignore that knowing. Your stomach tightens, but they tell you you're overreacting. Your chest feels heavy, but they tell you you're being dramatic. Your intuition whispers something isn't right, and eventually you stop listening. Not because your intuition disappeared, because you've been taught that someone else's version of reality matters more than your own. Here's something I wish more people understood. Confusion is not clarity waiting to happen. Sometimes confusion is information. Healthy relationships don't leave you constantly questioning yourself. They don't leave you replaying every conversation. They don't leave you wondering whether you're the difficult one every single time conflict happens. Healthy conflict may be uncomfortable, but it doesn't erase your reality. Instead of asking, am I too sensitive? Try asking, what actually happened? Instead of, why am I always upset? Ask, What keeps happening that leaves me upset? Instead of, maybe I'm the problem, ask, would I say these things to someone I love? Sometimes changing the question changes everything. Healing from gaslighting isn't just learning to recognize manipulation. It's rebuilding the relationship with yourself, learning to believe your own memories, your own feelings, your own intuition, your own experiences. Again, that takes time. But every single time you stop dismissing yourself, you're rebuilding trust, one decision at a time. I want to leave you with this. If someone constantly leaves you confused, questioning yourself, or apologizing for things you didn't do, please don't rush to conclude that you're broken. Pause. Get curious. Ask yourself, what if my confusion isn't proof that I'm wrong? What if it's the first sign that something isn't right? Your voice deserves to matter. Your memories deserve to matter. Your feelings deserve to matter. And most importantly, you deserve to trust yourself again. Thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Smile Sessions. If today's conversation resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Have you ever found yourself doubting your own reality because someone else insisted you were wrong? What helped you to start trusting yourself again? If you've enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss another episode in our Stop Disappearing series. Until next time, take care of yourself, trust yourself, and remember, the healthiest relationships don't make you question your reality. They make you feel safe enough to tell the truth about it. I'm Christina Perry, and this has been another session for your soul.